Hey everybody, I'm going to talk about writing polynomials from 0. Now with the roots 2 and 6, those are our zeros. So it says write the zeros, but we have them. And then write the binomials. So first you write your binomials, you put an x in each one. And if you remember, whatever I plug in here, it needs to equal 0. So I have to put -2, because 2 minus 2 is 0. And the same thing here, minus 6. Because when I plug in 6 there, that makes it 0. And the last thing I do is just FOIL it. So now x minus, let's see, -2 plus -6, -8x, -2 times -6 plus 12. And there's my function. Okay, now you'll see down here it says the second thing to do is the box. You're only going to do that when you actually have more than just 2 roots. And we'll see that in the next couple problems. Now in this one, again, same thing. Write your binomials. X here, X here. And for the first one, for 1/3, I'm going to have to do minus, because it's positive. And the next one will also be minus, because it's positive. Now I'm going to do x squared. And now I have to add 7 and 1/3. So what I'll do here is I know that 7 has 7 times 3, 21/3, and then I'm going to add a third, so that means it's going to be 22/3, and it's going to be negative because they're two negative numbers, so -22/3 x, and then the last thing is multiplying -1/3 times -7, so -1/3 times -7, and if you remember from multiplying fractions, if you have a whole number times a fraction, you make that whole number a fraction and multiply across. So now -1 times -7, that's +7, and then 3 times 1 is 3. So plus 7/3. Alright, and there's my function. Alright, let's do one more. Oh, now, here's a look at a polynomial. That has more than just 2 roots. It has one here, has one here, has one here, and has one here. This one actually has 4 roots. Now, we're going to look at an equation, we're going to make equations that only have 3 roots, but these are the type of equations we're going to work with, or the types of graphs that we're going to work with, is polynomials that have more than 2. So that's what I mean when it has more than 2 roots, because it has more than 2 x-intercepts. Remember, they're all the same. Okay, now I'm going to write a polynomial, least degree, with the roots -3, 4, and 6. So first, write the binomials. Now if you have more than 2, you're going to write a binomial parenthesis for each number. So now I'm going to do the same thing, put an x there, x here. And so remember, I have 3 numbers, so I got to do 3 binomials. Now the first one, for -3, will be +3, because -3 plus 3 is 0. The second one will be x minus 4, because 4 minus 4 is 0. And the next one will be x minus 6, because 6 minus 6 is 0. Now it says to FOIL. Well, the thing is here, you're not going to FOIL the whole thing, because the FOIL technique only works when you have 2 binomials. This has 3. So what you have to do is pick 2 to work with first. And I recommend always pick the 2 to the right. So I'm going to FOIL these, and then I'll multiply the x plus 3 after. So first, bring down the x plus 3, so you don't forget it, because you're going to multiply it after. You FOIL. Then FOIL the other 2. So now it's going to be x squared, then -4 plus -6 is -10x. And then the last number will be -4 times -6, which is +24. Now what you have to do is multiply those 2. In order to multiply those 2, you're going to have to use a box. And the way you do this is that the height of the box will be determined by how many terms are in your are in the smallest binomial, which is 2, this x plus 3. So what I'm going to put here is x and 3 here, and then the other polynomial will go on the top. X squared minus 10x plus 24. And now if you didn't already guess, you're just going to multiply everything through, like a multiplication table. Or like when we did the Xbox method, or the one you guys just learned about, the box method. So now, x times x squared is x to the 3. Then 3 times x squared is 3x squared. Then x times negative 10x is negative 10x squared. And then negative 10x times 3 is going to be negative 30x. And then the next one will be 24 times x, is 24x. And then the last one, 24 times 3, that is 72. Now if you'll notice, the numbers that are, what you'll have to do now is all those numbers that you just multiplied, you're going to have to add them all up together and combine the like terms. And if you'll notice, all the terms that are like each other are at a diagonal from one another. So the x squareds are at a diagonal, and the x terms are at a diagonal. The x cubed and then the constant, the last one, 72, don't have a common term. So we're just going to write those out. So now you have x to the 3, and now you're going to add 3x squared minus 10x squared, which is going to be 7x squared, and then negative 30x plus 24x, which is going to be negative 6x, and then plus the last one, which is 72. And there is our polynomial. Okay, I will see you guys tomorrow in class.